already have, if somebody has done the maths on this. This is really complicated. The way this works is not really, it is supported by my hands and it goes up from there, but the way this is more like an inflated balloon. Like when I, for instance, if this were bigger and I would put pressure over here, then it could be that there would be a pool over here, or there could be, these 2 points could be compressed, or the forces would be distributed over the whole surface of this. And the way that works is not really straightforward or easy to grasp. This is really another way of building. And it is obvious when you look at it because the things are not touching, you know? The solid things are not touching. So this really works in a completely different way. Now, if you would place this on the ground, then there would be 5 sticks, these 5, which are straight up. So you could basically cut the other half off and made a ground plate which is supported on. You could pull over a piece of cloth and you would basically have a tent. But the tent you create in that way would, like, it would want to be upright. You don't need to stabilize it or to secure it. If you just pushed it, it would just it wants to be this way. And also, if this is not a rubber bands but tight material, then it also has this elastic thing. So like you can push it for a bit, and then it's like bamboo. The dynamics of it are kind of like bamboo. So if you would start to build like this, imagine. So you need just a little bit of material, only a few pieces of wood, of bamboo, something, of strings, and a little bit of intelligence, because. But it's really not complicated. Yeah, I'm really glad that you're here. I've been looking forward to, oh, there's an architect coming. Right. But if you do it in this way and you finish doing this construction, then you have already reached the top. You're already there. So without much of a hassle, without much of a conquering-like mentality, you're already up, and now you can start building down. I mean, you can attach your floors to this structure, and you can suspend them from them. You don't need to raise your floors. You can suspend them from the structure. The walls, you don't need to raise thick, heavy walls. You can just hang them in there. So you can, the rest of the structure also will be very light and very cheap, and it's a very versatile way of building.
Yeah, so, okay, that sounds good. The suspending, hanging it from the top.
Building down.
Yeah. So why would that very complicated to me structure be necessary instead of just 4 poles and a roof top of 4 steel poles from them, and then suspending it there? Why would that structure be an advantage to that?
Well, for a number of reasons. You have to, for the 4 poles going up, you have to battle your way up through gravity. So it will not be a problem if this is just a 1-story building. But if you're planning to build an 8-story building, it's more difficult already to put the poles up, and to start building down from there, because they're way on the ground, and you need to stabilize them in certain ways. And
This one.
But this one also needed poles going up. That's what you said at the basis. The 5
Yeah, well,
poles going up. You said.
yeah, I said it to make it
Practical.
to make it practical for a mind to be recognizable. Because when I see this, I can see a house, but you know, I look up. Oh, this could be. But maybe it looks to the unexperienced eye, it looks more like a football. So that way, to make it more easily recognizable, I say, well, you chop off this part, and then you have some straight things which you could kind of interpret as a wall, so to make it more accessible. But you, in fact, you do not need to strip it off. I would not advocate, anyway, I would not advocate start building like this. Yeah, well, in fact, maybe I would. But I don't look at yeah?
I just want to say that our bodies use this principle.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have to spend so much energy just for standing up. We don't. It's because this principle is applied. You have the bones in there, the muscles are the rubber bands. That's where you can stand there all this time without having to lie down after an hour. Because if we're really doing muscle work the whole time, like intensely, we wouldn't be able to stand up, walk around. Especially around our chest here, our whole torso. This is the principle that is used. So it already exists in nature.
And also in the microscopic nature, in the cell, this is the way the cell works, where it gets its form.
BMW actually has a concept car right now that doesn't have a metal outside, but is actually built on a skin, on an exoskeleton, or on a skeleton, much like the human body. It's really cool to see the video. But they're just building the skeleton and then like that. Not like that, but and then wrapping the skin around it. And so if you get a car accident, you just kill the skin.
Yeah.
And
it will restore its form.
well, it just bends inward. So instead of breaking or metal gets crushed like a metal sheet body, yeah, just comes right back out.
That's great.
So are there already people living in houses like this somewhere? Are they,
I'm not
have they been
architect,
built?
we have
Somewhere on the earth?
We have houses
Do
like
people
that.
live in those houses somewhere?
Yeah. Well, this is an example. This is a family of technologies. These are called tensecurities, for tension and integrity, and you can make different forms, so that you will go around, and you can actually tweak them in such a way that the poles, in fact, do touch each other. So they are really connected, and when in those forms, it's like the rubber bands are inside the poles. So you don't use rubber bands anymore. And so in those structures, the rubber bands and the poles are the same. Yeah, are the same. So you have just poles, and they will function as well as push and as pull. But since you cannot, here you can see it more clearly and understand the dynamics of it. And those forms that I'm talking about, you're probably familiar with. Those are the geodesic domes. So I have a picture of one. Over here. You know those kinds of structures. You know those? This one. Yeah, of course. So these kinds of, and those are more practical. Those are more practical to build, but they have the same properties as these in the way of the, you know, the bamboo kind of dynamics. So when I don't look at the news of TV very much because
TVs are sexy.
But then when I do, and then there's sort of and another hurricane. It's the 6th in 4 years. La 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 la, and then there's, you know, images of people, you know, with